Many congratulations on your appointment as the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation of South Africa. And I'm wondering, were you surprised about your appointment? I understand that your experience in international relations makes you one of the more suitable candidates for this position. How do you feel about it?
Thank you. It is a humbling experience, particularly to fill the shoes of my predecessor, former Minister Pando, who has played a sterling role in this job. So I am looking forward to making my contribution on behalf of the South African government.
Will you miss Minister Pando? I mean, she made quite a remarkable mark as her role as Minister of International Relations. Will you be missing her at all?
Yes, I have also learned a lot from her in our various engagements, working with her in the past 5 years. Very diligent, hardworking, and forthright. So those are attributes that I learned from her. And she was meticulous, attention to detail. So those are things that I believe will have rubbed into some of us, the younger generation. And it was indeed an honor for us to have served with her and to have learned these lessons, which we will be able to carry forward on behalf of the South African government and also on behalf of the ANC.
Minister, I just want to share a little comment with you, which my COO forwarded to me this morning. His name is Ponti Molitsani, and this is what he says about you. I think he is a good politician, and that, of course, is you, Ronald Lamola. I've been following him from his youth league days. He also took the German production company to his house for a documentary shoot. So clearly a down-to-earth and a good, approachable man. Thank you, Ponti, for those comments. Minister, how do you respond to that?
No, thank you. That's a very humbling words. Hopefully, we will be able to continue to interact and inform our foreign policy as a country and contribute to international peace and solidarity.
So we need to ask, what are your priorities? Let's look at Brics, for example. Will South Africa continue to be firmly in the Brics table?
Thank you. Our foreign policy, as you are aware, is informed by our national interest document, by the Constitution, by the Foreign Services Act, and the statement of intent also guide broadly the policy view. And the statement of intent is also continuously calls for participation in multilateral forums like Brics, which will continue to do, the United Nations, the African Union, including regional economic integration through the Africa Free Trade Agreement. So we will continue to ensure that the SADC as economic integration, the cooperation that is existing in SADC and political, and also our work for peace and solidarity in the African continent continues, including with regards to Western Sahara, with regards to Palestine, and then continue with our peace initiative in the Ukraine and the Russia conflict.
Let's look at how South Africa will balance its relationships with the West. And your response to the US considering curtailing ties and deals with South Africa, part of it being tied with South Africa having taken the Israeli government, or Netanyahu and his cronies, to the ICJ.
Yes, we will continue to engage on the North and South engagements with the various players, including the US, because we believe that the bilateral relations we have with the US, including the AGOA, PEPFAR, and other mutually beneficial legislations, is to the benefit of both countries. The US benefit from us through the some of the minerals, which were the only country that export to the US. We also benefit through these friendly terms of AGOA. So believe this is mutually beneficial. It's a relationship that must be continuously enhanced. And it is for that reason that I will be in the UK tomorrow as part of a celebration of our 30 years of democracy by the anti-apartheid movement, which was the biggest anti-apartheid movement anywhere in the world, who are embracing us as their friends. And it will also be an opportunity for me to meet the newly appointed foreign minister of Britain.
You come from a very, very strong legal background. So let's look at the ICJ case. Will this continue to be pursued with the same energy and and be seen through to completion? Will South Africa request additional interim measures if Israel, well, not if Israel intensifies genocide? They have, in fact, intensified the genocide, and they have, in fact, defied the court as well. What is your stance, and how do you believe we, South Africa, should move forward on this very, very heinous situation playing out on the Palestinian people?
Yes, as you are aware, the case was predicated on our genocide convention, which has been domesticated in our own parliament. It's a South African law. As a country, we had a duty to act to protect the rights of the people of Gaza, in particular Palestine, which we have done. So we will continue to explore all the measures at the UN level and also at the ICJ, if need be, to ensure that the rights of self-determination, humanitarian access, and the cessation of fire by the state of Israel is realized. So if we have to do it through UN resolutions, and we support the US initiated resolution at the UN for cessation of fire, the current dialogue that is happening at Qatar, we support, because we believe that any dialogue or platform that is aimed to cease fire in Palestine or in Gaza currently should be supported. So we will definitely continue to explore all the avenues to continue to put the necessary pressure to the state of Israel to cease fire and to allow for humanitarian aid in Gaza.
However, there is a fear that South Africa will backtrack on such outspoken pro-Palestinian positions. Do you realize how much goodwill the pro-Palestine stance has won South Africa globally, and how this will be jeopardized if you make an about turn? I'd like you to tell me categorically that that's not going to happen, that you're not going to make an about turn, that you will still carry on and be very vociferous in your support of the Palestinian situation.
Yeah, I don't know what informs that fear, because as I've said, the case at the ICJ and all our positions at the UN, they transcend generations of the ANC or of the South African government. So one is that it's based on the genocide convention that has been domesticated in our country. Two is based on UN resolutions. And three, as I have said, the statement of intent of the GNU is very clear that we need to continue with the human rights-based foreign policy informed by our constitution. So it's clear that the South African government will continue to advocate for the rights of the people of Palestine, or people anywhere in the world whose rights are violated because our human rights outlook informs our foreign policy. So the struggle will definitely continue. As you are aware, we are proceeding with the merit side of the case at the ICJ with regards to the genocide. So I really don't know where the fear comes from.
I suppose because of the change of ministerial positions and knowing that we've entered into GNU and different parties having different ministers and parliamentarians obviously having different positions on this matter. That is where I presume it comes from. But let's also ask you this question. What are the possibilities that we can see charges being brought against South African mercenaries deployed in Netanyahu's army, the IDC?
Yeah, as you are aware, that is also governed by our own legislation on the Mercenaries Act that is governed here, and the NPA and the police, if there is such evidence, they have got a law that they can apply to charge such individuals and bring them to book within the confines of that legislation, and that should be a process that is guided by the law enforcement authorities. And we have said that when such evidence exists and such people are identified, anyone who has that evidence must bring it to the attention of the police so that they can investigate and the NPA can prosecute.
Well, that's quite comforting. We do know there seems to be a lot of organizations that have suggested they do have names and contact details of these mercenaries' families living in South Africa. So that would be a starting point, and we hope and pray that SAPS do, or the NPA does take these issues seriously. If they don't, would your door be open for people to then approach you to perhaps intervene or support their case regarding these mercenaries being charged?
Yeah, I believe the police department, ministry, and also justice, which are administering the law, will always support measures that are aimed to ensure the protection, the respect, and the administration of justice and the rule of law in our country.
Okay, let's go for our first ad break, Minister. And when we come back, we'll talk some more. Please do stay with us. Thank you.
To those who have lost their homes and have been plunged into poverty. For those who are a meal away from starvation, a food parcel means an entire family can eat this Ramadan. That's the power of food. Donate now to Islamic Relief.
When the perfect blend of stylish decor, exquisite halal cuisine, and warm hospitality come together, it could only mean Al Bayt Lodge, your true home away from home. Al Bayt is the ideal heaven for families, business people, and tourists with its 4-star family rooms and other luxurious facilities. Conveniently situated close to Port Elizabeth Airport, the beach, and other amenities, your stay will be truly unforgettable, as you'll be taking home lasting memories of the warm hospitality, the serenity and tranquility that Al Bayt has to offer. For reservations, call 041 583 6415 or visit www.albaytlodge.co.za.
You South African, of course. You anxious about the future. We've got you covered. Build on your wealth portfolio with Randry Jewelers Gold Coin Exchange. Visit us at 151 Stephen Dlamini Road, Musgrave, Durban, or call us on 031-202-4700 for more information. Randry Jewelers Gold Coin Exchange, your passport to gold investment.
Our brothers and sisters in Palestine are enduring unimaginable hardships. Ashraful Aid teams are on the ground delivering crucial aid to those in need. But we can't do it alone. Palestine is suffering and they need your help. Your support can make a world of difference. Visit www.ashrafulaid.org today and donate to bring hope, relief, and healing to those who are in need.
Yasin Badat Financial Advisory. Are your financial goals feeling out of reach? Yasin Badat Financial Advisory is here to turn your aspirations into achievements. Our dedicated team, armed with a history of success, is ready to guide you through the complex nature of financial and investment planning. Whether you're a seasoned investor or new to the game, our personalized solutions cater to your unique goals and risk appetite. Trust in our commitment to transparency, integrity, and excellence. Ready to unlock a world of financial freedom? Partner with us today. Call Yasin Badat Financial Advisory at +27333462071 or visit www.yasinbadat.com. Yasin Badat Financial Advisory, guiding you to financial success.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media, coming to you live from South Africa.
Welcome back. It's exactly 8:25 a.m. News and views on Salam Media, and I am talking with Minister Ronald Lamola. He is, of course, the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation of South Africa. We are focusing on the ICJ and the genocide on the Palestinian people. So let's also ask this very important question, Minister. Obviously, congratulations to DIRCO regarding the groundbreaking case at the ICJ. Why do you think that Netanyahu's regime has defied the ICJ's orders, and your expectations on further ICJ decisions which are due shortly?
Yeah, as you will remember, when we started the case, we were very clear that we believe this will be the beginning of the end of Israel impunity. And that's where lies the issues, that Israel exceptionalism has defined global politics for quite a long period of time. And that is the reason why Israel continues to defy, because they know that they will always find protection in the institutions that are existing. But the case at the ICJ has now exposed them to the world. And that's why it's also very difficult now for their own friends to continue to protect or side with them. The whole world is now shifting to put the pressure on a ceasefire, on access of humanitarian aid, and so forth. And even the young people in most of the capitals of the world have seen it for what it is, to be plausible genocide. And we believe that as we proceed with the case, we will further expose this failure to comply with the rules of international law by Israel, failure to comply with the rules of humanitarian aid, and that this is indeed a genocide aimed to annihilate the Palestinian people in Gaza. So we will continue with the case, providing the evidence and presenting it at the ICJ and on merit, so that the court can be able to rule on the genocide, on the merits itself, because you will remember that the first provisional measures were only dealing with the indication on the basis of a plausible genocide. Now we need to prove it at the court through the merit-based evidence that we will then provide, and we will do so on behalf of the South African government.
Talking about the GNU, let me come back to that question again. I do know that there are parties within the GNU that have said that what is happening in Gaza is not a genocide, and you have stated that it is in fact a genocide, and so does the majority of the global South believe that it's genocide. I mean, the horrors that's been perpetrated is unimaginable, unbelievable that in this day and age we're seeing a genocide playing out in front of our eyes. Certain parties within the GNU have even justified Israel's actions. Are you going to allow them to have a say in policy changes on the issue that they have promised to their voters?
As I have said earlier on, our foreign policy is informed by the Constitution, by the National Interest document. It's also informed by the Foreign Services Act. The statement of intent of the GNU also very clear that it should be a human rights-based outlook in terms of foreign policy. And I have also stated that the Genocide Convention, which is the basis of our case at the ICJ, which informed us, is domesticated, is South African law as we speak. So I don't see any ground of us changing. In fact, in terms of that domesticated law, we are duty bound to continue with the case at the ICJ, and also in terms of the convention. If you read the convention, it's very clear. Countries have got an obligation to protect people who are suffering genocide, which is what we are doing as a country, South Africa, fulfilling the obligations and the objectives of the Genocide Convention as adopted by the United Nations.
And please, God, may you carry on to follow through. Let's look at South Africa being on the Financial Action Task Force grey list. What implications of this, and what are we to expect a crackdown in this regard?
Yeah, it has got wide implications for our financial sector, from the financial flows into and out of the country, and also on the various platforms of economic investment. And it is for that reason that the whole of government is looking into the matter, the justice system, to crack down on money laundering, ensuring compliance with the FICA Act, which may have also to stop some of the financials that could fund what is termed in the report terrorism and so forth. So the South African government is working to ensure the compliance with the Act, and we have also amended the various laws, our Constitutional Democracy and Protection of Democracy Against Terrorism Act, and other legislations that are relevant to this aspect have been amended to comply with the report. And we believe that we will be able to gradually ease ourselves out of these recommendations.
So, Minister, I just have one or two more questions for you. I do know that you are pressed for time. So let's look at the issue around de-dollarization at Brics level. What is that going to be a reality sometime soon? And then I also want to ask if South Africa will accept Iran's offer to supply fuel directly to Brics countries.
Yeah, as you are aware, that is still an engagement at the level of Brics, and it will be further concretized in the Brics summit in Russia. It's an engagement that is ongoing and evolving. And with regards to the Iran situation, we will continue to assess it and engage on the basis of our own domestic laws, including the platform of Brics.
Final question then, or perhaps two short, sharp questions. Let's look at South Africa's efforts on to democratize the UNSC.
Yes, we, as you will have seen from our budget vote, that we will continue to advocate for the transformation of the UN multilateral bodies, including the UN Security Council, to reflect the evolving world, so that it's able to respond to the changing dynamics and also to challenges and conflict as they arise. I think the current conflict and situation in Gaza is a clear reflection of the need to strengthen and transform the UN bodies.
Minister, you've been an absolute pleasure to talk to. My final question: what is the government's official position on Hamas?
We don't have any relationship with Hamas as a government. Our relationship is with the state of Palestine, and all our efforts in the Gaza Strip are informed by UN resolutions.
Okay, that's where we will leave it. And I thank you indeed. Timeously, I thank you indeed for your time this morning. Once again, many congratulations on your new role as a Minister of International Relations and Cooperation in South Africa. I do hope we'll have many more discussions going forward. Thank you once again for your time.
Thank you very much, and to your viewers.
God bless and go well. It is exactly 8:35. News and views on Salam Media. Let's go for a break. And when we do come back, I will give you a rundown of what else is coming up on the show this morning.